Hello everyone! This is Saurian Target welcoming you back to another episode of Hunting Highlights, where this week we're back playing some more Carnivores Fallen Kings. This time returning to the jungles of the Tarsinian Basin to hunt down the poster boy for the mod, the newly remodeled Torvosaurus. I mentioned at the end of our last episode how I didn't want to just unceremoniously bring our old Torvosaurus trophy into our new save file without properly showing it off in action. So that's what we're gonna do today. And, as a self-imposed rule, we have to hunt it with the Blunderbuss, meaning we only get one shot to bring this thing down or else become its next meal. So without further ado, let's begin. So today we are starting off up in the Basin's central northern peninsula with some pretty poor wind direction. But we don't have time to worry about that yet. While nothing's attacked us, I can hear some unfamiliar and heavy footsteps just off in the trees to our north. And I make sure the ever-reliable tactical shotgun is ready if something comes crashing through the undergrowth. Suddenly, the footsteps pick up the pace. Despite me whiffing on the second shot, the tac shotgun beautifully brings down a charging Monoclonius, the very first one I've seen in our Primarchian expeditions as of late. This one is just over 8 tons, and a whopping 63 feet in length, heavier than any Central East Triceratops I've ever killed. And since I don't have any Monoclonius back in the trophy room yet, I go ahead and claim this one to set a standard for these Ceratopsians going forward. Now I decide to continue trekking north to use what good wind we do have and see what else is lurking up in this peninsula. Up at the northernmost shore, I spot a menacing ridged back slinking through the trees. My binoculars cannot get a read on what it is past all the smaller non-trophy animals. So in order to find out what that is, we're gonna have to get closer. I've now completely lost the mysterious creature, and the binoculars are not any help through all the thick brush. I very quickly start cycling through the mortal zones for any possible targets, when I hear the heavy thudding of footsteps begin to boom through the dense forest. I then hear the unmistakable bellow of an Iguanosaurus, confirming my quarry, and try to sneak in closer undetected. Now, I did miss the second shot, but astonishingly, the tac shotgun actually had some trouble taking down this charging herbivore. Luckily, the Blunderbuss had no issue in filleting the dinosaur in a flurry of shrapnel pellets. And since this Iguanosaurus is rather small for the species, I decide to leave it here and start heading back into the heart of the reserve, with my goal being to head south along this eastern landmass, then cross over to the southwestern island down where the two nearly meet at the map's edge. In my personal hunting experience, most of the basin's larger dinosaurs congregate on the southern section of land. But I don't want to approach that area from the north with our poor wind direction, so this scenic trek I've planned will take a while, but I think it's gonna pay off in the long run by giving us a good, stealthy wind advantage. While glassing the jungles in the northeast, I hear some thunderous footsteps headed my way, and the culprit turns out to be a gigantic Dacentrurus. Now, I typically like to take down FMM stegosaurs with the tac rifle, but when that doesn't cut it here, the tac shotgun redeems itself with a close save. Now, I haven't even seen a Dacentrurus on these expeditions yet, and at 10 tons, this one seems to be a pretty good sized specimen, so we call in the trophy ship to haul it away. After crossing a small clearing in the trees, I hear the distinctive pitter-patter of small theropod feet approaching me from the south. And the tac shotgun puts the brakes on a charging Eustreptospondylus with no problem. This little carnivore is actually a pretty decent size, but still smaller than my 1.62 ton specimen I've already got back in the trophy room. So we'll leave him here and continue our trek southward. I've nearly made it to my crossing point at the southern tip of the island, and while glassing the trees for predators, I spot a Cardiodon out by the base of a mountain. Now, in some of my other off-camera hunts, I've actually been killed by the smaller Colovosaurs that travel with the Cardiodon while I'm attempting to bring down the sauropods. So I ready the pistol just in case a Colovosaurus gets defensive about its symbiotic juggernaut. As I approach the mountain, I can hear the rumbling of giant dinosaur feet somewhere up ahead, and strangely, the sounds seem to be coming from on top of the mountain. Now, I can't imagine a Cardiodon would have much luck scaling this sheer rock face, but as a large pathway up the mountain reveals itself, I find myself drawn up there to see if this is where the sauropod attempted its escape. I can hear the chattering of the Colovosaurs. They've been alerted to my presence, but they've also stayed down in the jungles, leaving their Cardiodon vulnerable. And suddenly, the thundering of heavy dinosaurs seems to surround me. The Cardiodon is down, and the tac shotgun retired, but the rumble of heavy footsteps continues. I keep the venom drawn and ready for whatever it may be. Another mountain-scaling Monoclonius goes down to the bioweapons blasts. Now I have to just hope I can navigate over there to claim this big bruiser. At nearly 9 tons, this one is just a bit bigger than our first Monoclonius kill. So we'll go ahead and claim it out of the hopes that there's room for it back in the trophy room. With the dust finally settled, and nothing dangerous in our immediate area, we leave the relative safety of the mountain and continue towards the crossing point. Wouldn't be a Fallen Kings hunt without having to put one of these guys down. As I finally arrive at the crossing point, something has beaten me there. A gigantic Baryonyx. It's actually quite slow in the water, and I decide to take advantage of its handicap. The scout rifle sinks the swimming carnivore to the bottom of the sea. But now, we've got a bit of a different problem. Since the inclusion of aquatic creature AI, it's never wise to assume that the waterways are safe in any Carnivores mods anymore. But I need to get down to the bottom to actually tag and claim this Baryonyx. Luckily, the water seems fairly shallow here at the crossing, and I don't see anything in the water immediately, but just in case, I ready the flèche gun for an underwater battle if need be. We've got it. Now we just need to get out of the water. This is a huge Baryonyx, and I don't want to lose it to some sea creature who thought I was a snack. Success! We've claimed a record Baryonyx from the bottom of the sea and made it across to some of the Basin's richest hunting grounds. So with the Blunderbuss armed and ready, we head deeper into the jungles with better wind to see if we can finally find a Torvosaurus. After working my way through the southern jungles while dodging Nigrosaurs, Colovosaurs, and Cardiodon, my binoculars pick up a small Dacentrurus out in a sandy clearing. It's not near as large as the last one we killed and claimed, but I'd like a second shot at bringing the Stegosaur down with something a little less extreme than the tack shotgun. So we continue to avoid the Nigrosaurs on our way down to the clearing where the Dacentrurus is currently roaming. Like me, it's sticking very close to the tree line. And when it finally turns to give me a shot at its mortal zone, it actually goes aggressive. A much less dramatic finish than our 10-ton takedown a little bit earlier, but a victory nonetheless. And I decide to leave this smaller one here to distract the Nigrosaurs as we continue north across the clearing. Unfortunately, I don't think he was interested in the downed Dacentrurus. As I near the western beach, I once again hear the thudding of giant dinosaurs just beyond my vision, but it doesn't take long to discover who's behind all this commotion. With the tack shotgun unfortunately empty, the Blunderbuss is reliably picking up its slack, dropping this small Iguanosaurus and another Monoclonius, a seemingly amphibious specimen who charged out of the sea Godzilla style. And this is actually the largest Monoclonius I've downed so far. But while I'm not sure if there'd be more than 2 display spots for the dinosaur in the trophy room, I claim this one anyway, just in case there's room for it. Now we can continue our hunt into this little northern peninsula, a well-documented Basin Torvosaurus territory. As I approach the base of this rocky hill, I can hear what sounds like a large dinosaur in a panicked run. The chatter of nearby Colovosaurs suggests that it's probably a spooked Cardiodon, but I want to get up here to make sure. I just get eyes on the fleeing sauropod as it disappears into the foliage, as well as a couple of Sinosaurus further back behind the tree line. I can just barely see the crested killers through all the ferns. But as I draw my scout rifle to try for a distance shot, they catch my scent and flee. These Sinosaurs are throwing an unfortunate monkey wrench into my Torvosaurus hunt. Although small, the carnivores are unpredictable, and now they know I'm here and I've lost sight of them, which naturally puts me on edge, as do the thundering footsteps of a large bipedal dinosaur. I can still hear the gurgling of the Sinosaurs, and retreat back up the hill for a better vantage point. Once I'm back at the top, I catch a glimpse of a pale, crimson head peeking out over the top of the next hill. The Torvosaurus is here, and the Sinosaurs are on the move. At this point, I'm not sure what to do. The tactical shotgun is out of commission, and while I still plan to down the Torvo with the Blunderbuss, that's not exactly my weapon of choice for a pack of Sinosaurus. Finally, the Torvosaurus appears over the hill, and it's just a bit larger than our previous Torvosaurus kill. Suddenly, the beast stops, frantically looking around and sniffing the air. It knows something is wrong. It knows I'm here, and it's desperately trying to pinpoint my location. Just as the Sinosaurs reappear, the Torvosaurus locks onto my position. With the Sinosaurs still out of sight, we can take a cautious moment to check our kills. This surprise Monoclonius is the smallest one I've downed yet, so I'll leave it be as we head over to claim our new Torvosaurus. A nice, clean 375 score, plus a new personal best in the weight category. I should end this hunt here. However, my collector's greed gets the better of me, as I noticed that one of those Sinosaurs was what Dino Hunt researchers call the Yellow Menace variant, a skin coloration that I don't currently have in my collection. So, I arrogantly venture west to see if I can bring one down. Now, I don't yet know if the Sinosaurs have fled across the water or if they're sticking near the coast, but my approach is as cautious as it is foolhardy, trying to maintain the high ground while I frantically scan for the pack. My binoculars aren't picking anything up, which leads me to believe that they fled across the bay. Everything has me on edge, from the slightest sound to the most fleeting movement, because in this thick brush, the Sinosaurs have the advantage. I'm starting to feel more and more like prey, and I have a lot to lose on this hunt. I can still see my downed Iguanosaurus across the bay, but no sign of the Sinosaurus pack. So, I stay close to the water's edge to make sure I'm in as open an area as I can be in case of an ambush. Suddenly, the pack charges out of the forest across the bay. I don't want to start firing into the water and risk missing all my shots, so I quickly back up and try to find a more open area to fight in for when the Sinos finally make landfall. This spot feels decent, but I forgot that Sinosaurs can pounce. The venom does not let me down, but does put all 3 Sinosaurs down. The regular variant, it's not much to write home about. We've got a larger one back in the resort. But it's the yellow menace variants I'm much more interested in anyway. I collect the largest first to secure its spot in the trophy room, and then claim the second just in case we've got room for it. So now, with nothing else charging in to attack us and the trophy team on their way, I think it's finally time to end this hunt and head back to the resort. Alright, we are back in the Primal Resort's Baryonyx Museum and ready to check out our new trophies from today's hunt. But we'll start over here with our new Sinosaurus variant first. Looks like there's only room for 2 Sinosaurs in this display, which is fine. We've got a good-sized record of each skin coloration in here now, as well as a little pack of Tanicoligreus there by the border. Now we gotta go take a look at our new Torvosaurus. And what an awesome redesign it is. It's so sharp and clean, it almost doesn't even fit into Carnivores' grungy retro aesthetic. But man, this is a spectacular looking dinosaur. We've also got our first Primarchian Ceratopsians to go check out. And it looks like there's only room for a couple of the big lugs in there, which means our actual personal best at over 9 tons didn't make it. But that'll give us a new record to shoot for, and I'm okay with that. I like hunting Monoclonius. It's a really cool and intimidating FMM Ceratopsian. And it looks like our giant Dacentrurus gets displayed down here across from our Giants of the Cape exhibit. And last but certainly not least, we have a proper giant Baryonyx to house in here next to our smaller tidal subspecies. I still wish it wasn't hidden behind all this shrubbery, but at least its head is sticking out for us to see. And I think that's gonna do it for this week, guys. Thank you guys as always for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's hunt and are still enjoying the Hunting Highlight series. This episode was so much fun to film, and I think next time we'll return to the Cape to try for a 40-ton Gigantosaurus, and maybe snag a few more of the Cape's endemic species along the way. But in the meantime, we'll head back up to the front and end on a nice shot of our awesome new Torvosaurus trophy. So thank you guys as always for watching, and be sure to let me know what your favorite part of today's hunt was. And also, let me know the size records for your Fallen Kings trophies down in the comments section. I'd like to see how I'm doing records wise and what dinosaur trophies I could still improve on. Thanks again guys, you are all truly the best, and I will see you guys next time.